the big bad man can't hurt you anymore, dressed in black and gold or white like they were on Saturday. A massive win for Illinois basketball on the road, Mackey Arena, top 5 ranked Purdue. We're going to talk about all that. We're also going to peek around the country. We got Washington and Nebraska this week. We're going to make some game picks. And then, hey, the football schedule for this upcoming year was released too this week. So we got a full show to get to. We start in West Lafayette, Indiana. Saturday afternoon, 46 from Keaton Wagler to down the Boilermakers. 4:15 left in this game. Illinois was down by 5. But man, Keaton Wagler, I don't use this word a lot, but watching him on Saturday was breathtaking. Just a breathtaking performance. He started 0 for 1 from 3. He made 9 out of his next 10 the rest of the game. He was 13 of 17 from the floor. He just dictated everything. It was an unbelievable performance on the road against the top 5 opponent. And, hey, he made 11 free throws, had a few assists. He just dictated everything on the floor. Purdue was switching. They switched the entire game. The entire game, they switched whenever Keaton Wagler was put into a pick-and-roll situation. So he got a lot of matchups with Oscar Clough, some against Trey Kaufman-Renn, those two big men for Purdue. And, man, when he got Oscar Clough on him, he just made him dance. It's like that Mark Jackson thing that he used to do when he was calling NBA games. May I have this dance? That's what Keaton Wagler was doing to Oscar Clough. And he took him to the rack a couple of times, but most of the time, he just made him dance on the perimeter and then stepped back and drilled a 3 right in his eye hole. Just awesome from Keaton Wagler. Oh, yeah, he also played 39 minutes, too. Let's hear from Keaton Wagler and Brad Underwood about just this historic performance that Keaton put together on Saturday.
It's just how the game was flowing, really. I think I missed my first 3. Then I came back and I hit like 3 in a row, got to the foul line, and that's just how the game was flowing. But then, in the second half, it stayed that way. So I think that's probably when it hit.
He just plays. He just hoops. There's nothing that phases him. He just wants to make the right basketball play. And tonight it happened to be scoring it. And that's his, it's just his personality. He's so stoic. He's very non-emotional. He's excited, yes, and his teammates were thrilled. But that's the beauty of Keaton. And the more impressive thing is he takes the emotion out of it in a venue with 15,000 people all against him, and he just plays. He just took what the game gave him.
Really is impressive. He really does take emotion out of it. I mean, if I was 11 or 9 of 11 from 3, I'd be blowing kisses to the crowd in the second half. Not him. He just gets back on defense. I just want to read off just a few of the accolades for him from this game. Most points by a player in a road win over a top 10 team. Most road points by a freshman against a top 25 team. Most points by a Big Ten player versus a top 25 team. Most points ever by a Big Ten freshman. That's incredible. Machi Arena, he set the visitors' scoring record. He set the Illinois freshman scoring record. And he scored the second most points by an Illini player ever. And those are just a few. There's more. There's more where that came from. Those are just a few of them. I mentioned the last 4 minutes. This was where I was just laser focused, I felt like, because they were down 5 with 4:15 left, and then it's just bang, bang, bang. You saw that one from Tommy, and then Keaton Wagler makes a great pass to Jake Davis, hits a 3 at the end of the shot clock. They're down 3. Tommy hits that 3. Purdue jumper, they're down 2 again. Jake Davis hits that buzzer, and then they get a stop. Merck hits that 3 that you're seeing right there. And then Purdue hits a jumper, and now here's another Tommy 3. It was just back-to-back-to-back-to-back possessions from Illinois to put it away. That Tommy 3 right there put them up 5 with a minute left, and then they closed it out. Wagler had the 46, but at the end of the game, it was him making the right pass to find an open guy. who hits big shots. And credit to Illinois and everybody around Keaton Wagler because they were not that involved offensively throughout most of this game. And it's not because they weren't trying or didn't want to be or anything like that. No, it was just Keaton Wagler was so hot that it was mostly him for most of this game. But when it came down to it, they were ready. And they were ready to catch and shoot. And we saw it there at the end of the game. 4 threes after being down 5 with four and change left to go up 5 with a minute left. And they were able to close it out. Just an impressive ending to the game. I was sitting there with 8 minutes left. And I was thinking, man, Keaton Wagler's going to score 50 in this game and they're going to lose. Nope. They got the guys to step up at the end and help out Wagler there. Let's hear from Jake Davis, Keaton Wagler again, and Brad Underwood again on just what this win meant and what it took to get a win in West Lafayette.
Keaton had 46 career night, but like they're doubling him towards the end of the game, not letting him give a shot. And like we have experienced guys in every position towards the end of the games. You know what I mean? Like last year, we have a bunch of returns from last year to making big shots. Like we've been through this. We know what we need to do, and everybody stepped up when they're supposed to.
The ceiling is national championship. That's our goal. That's been our goal since the beginning, and this just proves that we're a contender for that.
That locker room today, when they're 45 years old, they're all 50 years old, and they're all going to remember that locker room. And there's special moments that happen throughout the course of a career. That will be one. And like I said, our secret sauce is our connective mentality, that how close this group is, how dialed in they are, how much love they have for each other, and that's our secret sauce.
You heard Keaton Wagler say it. Goal is a national championship. They have, in my mind, solidified themselves that they are a contender to win the national championship. Do I think they're the best team in the country right now? Probably not, but they're the new AP poll has them at 9. I thought that's low. I think they're in a handful of teams that have the best chance to win the national title, especially if they keep shooting the way that they're shooting. There's nothing any team can do. Let's jump to football just real quick. The new schedule. This year's schedule released on Tuesday. They have the bye week right before Oregon. They're in week, 8? So that's something to keep note of, that Oregon game's at home. My initial thoughts, this is a pretty light schedule. As light as it can be in the new and improved Big Ten. Obviously, Ohio State, Oregon, those are always going to be very difficult, if not impossible, challenges for Illinois. But outside of that, who knows what Nebraska, UCLA, or really even Duke is going to be, certainly Michigan State with a new head coach. So there's still things that, we're not sure. You can't really project this schedule at this point, 7 months before it begins. But I think it's a pretty light schedule. Iowa's a tough game there at the end of the year, but you get them at home. At least you don't have to go to Kinnick Stadium where dreams go to die. So I think it shapes up well for Illinois football. Duke lost their starting quarterback, their really good quarterback, Darian Mensah. So I don't see, depending on how the team comes together, what we get from the quarterback, still not sure about that position. It looks like it could be another 9-win team, 9-win season for Illinois football. We'll see how it shapes up over the next few months, but I don't see anything on that schedule that I say, whoa, that's a brutal stretch, or that's just impossible outside of maybe Ohio State. You get Oregon at home, too. All right, around the country, it's basketball season. We have to mention football because it's important, but it's basketball season. In the Big Ten on Friday night, woo! Number 3, Michigan, number 7, Michigan State. Both these teams survived big scares on Tuesday night. Michigan brought to the wire by Nebraska, handed them their first loss. We'll talk about the Huskers more later. Michigan State got taken to overtime against Rutgers on the road. Both these teams half game ahead of Illinois in the Big Ten, along with Nebraska. For Michigan, it all starts with Yaxel Lendeboard. He is a all-around do-it-all type of forward, type of player. He's a defensive menace, gets 3 stocks a game, averages near 15 and 7, and he's a pretty efficient scorer as well. He's going to be on the short list for National Player of the Year. He's not going to win it, but he'll be in the final 10, I would think, especially with the season that Michigan's having. For Michigan State, it's Jeremy Fears. You might remember his brother Jeremiah. He's in the NBA now. He played 1 year at Arkansas, I believe. I believe that was last year. And he's a really good point guard. He might not scorch you himself, but I think he's one of the best passers in the country. You can see that with his 9 assists per game, and he gets to the rim pretty effectively as well. So I think this is just a really fun game, a really fun rivalry, in-state matchup versus 2 top 7 teams. And both these teams that were scared on Tuesday, they did both win. So it sets up for absolute brawl in East Lansing, I think, on Friday night. I will be sat watching this game. Going to be exciting. It's a great Michigan offense. It's a great Michigan State defense. Michigan's defense is very good, too. Michigan State's offense, top 40 in the country, so pretty good as well. It's a coin flip game. I think I just have to go with Michigan State. That's who I'm going to pick because they're at home. I just think it's going to be an awesome game. But like I said, coin flip. Michigan early on in the year was blasting everybody by 40. They've come back down to earth a little bit. They played some tight games, so they're not as, at least seemingly, unbeatable as they were in the first month or 2 of the season. So I'll pick the Spartans. I think it's going to be a really fun one, and Tom Izzo's a great coach. In the Big 12, BYU at Kansas, Saturday afternoon in Lawrence. The only thing that I can say about this is it's just an awesome freshman matchup. A.J. DeBonsa, Darren Peterson, they might be the top 2 picks in the draft this coming June, July, whenever the NBA draft is. DeBonsa, he just lights you up. He's that point forward, that new age type of player. Darren Peterson, he's had a weird season. He's played very well in the games that he's played, but he's been off and on the court, nagging injury, not really sure what it is. At some points, it kind of seems like he quit, but nobody from Kansas has said anything to that effect, so that's probably not the case, but it's just very weird. Sometimes he'll be going off, and he'll just say, no, I got to come out of the game. We're still not really sure what's going on. But when he's on the court, he will torch you. He is unbelievably impressive offensively as a player. He's never seen a shot that he doesn't like. He will just chuck them, and they go in. It's really impressive. Team-wise for both of these teams, it's 2 great offenses. Both their defenses are okay. Rob Wright, Richie Saunders, they're both really good wingmen to DeBonsa for BYU. And then Kansas, they always have that guy in the paint that can torture you, especially defensively, and that's what they have in Flory Badunga again this year. This is going to be another fun game. It's a great college basketball Saturday coming ahead. One of my favorite games of the year is on Saturday night. It's Gonzaga and St. Mary's. It's one of my favorites of the year. But for this game, in the fog, BYU coming off a tight loss to number 1 Arizona. Arizona stays undefeated. I'm going to pick Kansas because they're at home, and I just have to go with history here on another seemingly coin flip game, at least in my head. They just seem like they always find a way at Fog Allen Fieldhouse, so I'll take the Jayhawks. I think Peterson maybe scores 25. For Illinois, man, Thursday night, Washington coming into town. Illinois officially a top 10 team in the country. 8 p.m. at the State Farm Center. This game is just simply do not lose focus for Illinois. Just don't lose focus. It's sandwiched right in between 2 top 5 road games. They got it done against Purdue. They got Nebraska hanging around them on Sunday. Do they forget about Washington there in the middle? I don't know, but that is something to be thoughtful of, I think. The guy for Washington to be aware of, I think, is Zoom Diallo. He will get hot if you let him. Look, this is a Washington team that's just they're okay. They're just okay. They're like 11-9. They're coming off a big time win against Oregon. They won by double digits, but it's not a Washington team or a guy in Zoom Diallo that really scares you. He'll get hot if you let him, but it's him and a couple of pretty evenly matched guys on that Washington team. There's no real go-to guy. If you had to choose one, that's why I chose Zoom Diallo, but it should be a team that Illinois can shut down defensively. It's not a Washington team that scares you offensively, and part of the reason for that is, at least for some of these teams that are just okay, at least record-wise, you worry, man, well, what if they get hot from three or something like that? Washington's a pretty rare team in modern basketball. They only get about a fourth of their points from beyond the three-point line. So they don't shoot a ton of them. They get inside the arc, into the paint, and try to score that way. It's something that Illinois refuses to do. Illinois will only shoot at the rim or a three. That's it. Washington, that's not the case. Like I said, they only get a fourth of their points from beyond three. Illinois, on the other hand, they get about 40% of their points from three. It's a very wide margin. Illinois is in the top 30 in the country in that metric. Washington way down in the 300s in that. And it's not to say one is better than the other, but it's just a stylistic difference. I don't think that they're going to look past this game. I don't think they will. I think this team is really laser sharp focused right now and really together. And maybe part of that was because they said, hey, our leader, our guy, Kylan Boswell, is going to be out for a while. We really need to be a team. Worked out on Saturday against Purdue. I think Illinois wins this game. When you're as good as Illinois, there are a lot of games on your schedule that become games that you just should not lose. This is one of them. It's not a Illinois cannot be beaten by Washington game. Washington is not bad, but it's a game that Illinois should not lose. And they've been very good about winning those games this year. They haven't, off the top of my head, they haven't lost a game that I think they should have won at all this year. So that's a good thing. I don't think they'll look past them. I think Illinois wins comfortably against Washington at home. But the big one. Another top 5 team, another top 5 road trip. They have another one next week. Not top 5, but top 10 next week. This is the second. Nebraska, 3 p.m. Sunday afternoon in Lincoln. Can they do it again? Can they do it again? Because Nebraska, remember, walked into the State Farm Center and beat Illinois in mid-December. That's Illinois' last loss. They haven't lost in pretty much a month and a half, and it was this team that did it. Nebraska just picked up their first loss on Tuesday night against number 3 Michigan, and it was tight, and they had control of that game. So that wasn't oh my goodness, Nebraska's not as good as we thought they were type of game, at least through my eyes. This is a really, really, really good team that has already beaten you on your home floor, and now you have to go to them. Remember, last Illinois loss was to Nebraska. They got 20 from Kylan Boswell in that game. He was a big reason why Illinois stayed in it. Merck did nothing, David Merkovich, and Tommy did nothing in that game. They're going to need something from those guys this time around. Now, the guy that killed Illinois was Price Sanford. It felt like he hit 23s in that game, and it's just what he does. An incredibly efficient scorer, near 50% from the floor, over 40% from three, and he'll put them up. So what is the plan this time around? Are you going to put David Merkovich back on him? Are you going to switch more to Andrei Stojakovic? Because Sanford has some more girth to him, but not a lot of height on him over Andrei Stojakovic. So maybe that's something that they think about doing, or maybe they say, hey, Merk, This time, you're gonna get the job done for us. We will see what their plan is this time. The thing to watch out for is that Rink Mast did not play for Nebraska Tuesday night against Michigan. He's sick. I expect him to be back for Sunday. That's 5 days difference. I expect him to be back, but if he's out, that gives Illinois a pretty good, boost to their chances of winning the game. He's a 15-point per game scorer, and they're missing one of their guards as well with an ankle injury. Not sure if he'll play. The other thing that Illinois, I think, in this game has to try to do is make Sam Hoiberg more uncomfortable. He's Nebraska's point guard. He's tiny. He's quick. Don't have Kylan Boswell to try to stick on him this time. Can Keaton Wagler stay in front a little bit more? Maybe if they feel comfortable with Mihailo Petrovic, that's an assignment, but I doubt that because even with the Boswell injury, we haven't seen much of Petrovic here this season, so I doubt that that's the case. Look, I picked against Illinois last weekend on the road against Purdue. I'm not going to do it again. Not 2 weeks in a row. I'll pick Illinois to win, avenge that mid-December loss, keep this thing rolling before they have another big-time road trip up to East Lansing. It's going to be, I think this is going to be a dogfight of a game. I think it'll be a fun game to watch because both offenses can really score. Does Illinois just have that final push again like they did last week against Purdue? We will see. Let's take a look at the next few games for Illinois after this week. Washington, Nebraska, they got Northwestern at home. They've already beaten them. And then there's that road trip. Michigan State, February 7th. That's another tough one. Michigan State, I didn't put their ranking in there, but they're 7 right now. They could be in the top 5 here come next week, depending on what they do against Michigan. But they'll be number 7 right now. And then Indiana just beat Purdue at home, so that's no easy game either. They've got a couple of guys that can really shoot and really play as well. So this Illinois schedule, it's a brutal stretch that just continues, but that's kind of what it is in the Big Ten, especially when you're given a pretty easy start to conference play like they were given. Now they just got to try to sustain it. Before we get out of here, I just want to make a point about David Mirkovic. I think they need more guys like David Mirkovic, and I think they've found a really good group of guys that think, play, and care the way that David Mirkovic plays. He came into Saturday's game against Purdue as questionable. Didn't know if he'd play. I think it was an illness. Not sure if he was going to be ready to go or if he could really give them a lot on Saturday, but he ended up playing, and he ended up playing really well. He's just determined to play with his guys. And listen to this after the game on Saturday.
Probably, I'm not saying, but probably my team wouldn't be able to win without me, and just that thought, I'm not playing, even Northwestern game or this game, and me not playing and we lose in some situation. If we lost today and I wasn't playing, I would myself probably. Just I had that thought.
It's just so good. It's so perfect that in a world in college sports where there is so much selfishness and really no loyalty from players, coaches, it's not a shot at players. There's just not a ton of it. Really a lot is about the money, but you have a guy that would rather die than not play with his guys. And obviously he wasn't being serious there, but I just thought it was so perfect, and why I think this Illinois team is playing so together and so well right now is because they have guys that are willing to do anything to win, and David Mirkovic is just one of them. We need more guys like him in sports, in college basketball. Just awesome stuff from David Mirkovic. I hope he keeps it going. I hope he keeps rolling. That's it for us here this week. Man, every week it seems like we've got a huge matchup to talk about. We're going to have another one next week, so make sure you're tuned in every Wednesday night right here on the WAND Now app. We will see you back next week. We'll see if Illinois goes 2-0 yet again. See ya.